Hello, friends, and cheers. I have my dinner right here, and I want to share it with you. It's a strawberry and apple blended smoothie. It is best to consume fruits on an empty stomach. The second best time to consume fruits is after a longer break from a meal, like after lunch, but when it's almost dinner, or if you're skipping lunch, then after breakfast, but like 4 or 5 hours after you have had your meal. So it's almost an empty stomach, even though it's really an empty stomach. So which brings me to the next topic of our challenge, and that is nutrition. We are what we eat, same as we are what we think. And these days, there are as many diets as there are people. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean that someone is thinking, oh, I'm on a diet. I'm on an apple diet, or I am on a bread and cheese diet, or I am on bread and water diet, or I am on potatoes and carrots diet. It's meant to be a little giggly because some of the suggestions, are a little bit ridiculous. What I mean when I say the word diet, I mean the human diet. I mean the diet that we as humans, as species, consume. Some foods are more natural to us than others. That doesn't mean that we don't choose to eat them. The key here is choice. The food industry has done a lot of marketing to take the choice out of a picture. It had taken it to the point where we don't notice that we're eating a lot of sugar because it's hidden within. We don't notice that we eat a lot of hormones and a lot of harmful chemicals which help us get hooked on a particular food or food family. And there's marketing, and then there's habits. By the time we reach adulthood, we don't think about why we make certain choices. That's why there are several diets or several nutrition programs that focus on food psychology to help identify the hidden choices and get us to be in control of what we eat. There are several programs that I have tried and I recommend. First of all, there's the Holobody system. It's developed by several coaches at Mind Ballet with great credentials, and it focuses on the psychological aspect together with the wholesome food choices together with exercise, and combined together it is a program which makes you in control of your life. The next program that I would recommend is a Wildfit program. Mind you, it is not a weight release program. Note I said release and not loss. The reason I say loss is because when you say weight loss, the presumption is that you're looking to find it. Similar to when you lose your favorite item, you want to get it back as soon as possible. So psychologically, if you say I am losing weight, then you can find weight. But if you're releasing weight, you don't need it back. So Wildfit also focuses on food psychology, and what it also does, it sequences when we take a break from a certain food, notice that break. They don't give a complete list. Okay, this 100 foods we're going to eliminate from our nutrition, and tomorrow we're going to start and you have to eliminate all of them. Good luck. There's a sequence which is completely intentional, and the list of foods that the participants are taking a break from is kept secret until the particular week. It is a 90-day challenge, and it is quite challenging, and people do release weight, even though that is not intent. The participants are encouraged to add intentional movement, but it is discouraged to do any hardcore weight training or physical endurance training at the same time, because partway through the program, energy is a factor, and having that to deal with that and a strenuous workout puts them in conflict with each other, and it compromises and sabotages the process. So it's still possible, but the results might not be as good. It is recommended for someone who wants to do Wildfit and wants to do strenuous program to sequence them out. Do Wildfit first, get your nutrition in line, and then after that focus on strenuous exercise. There's also Noom. Noom also focuses on food psychologists and on food choices, and also daily weigh-ins to see where you are in your journey. The difference between Noom and Wildfit is that Noom focuses on weight awareness. It is a weight release program. So you are looking at the scale on a daily basis, and then you say, how do I correct myself? Wildfit, on the other hand, is a 90-day challenge, and there is weigh-in in the beginning of the challenge, halfway through, and in the end. The reason being is that the designer of the Wildfit challenge, Eric Edmonds, through vast experimentation, had found out that seeing that number puts psychological stigma and pressure on somebody, and sometimes that does play a factor in how much weight they end up releasing and their results, versus weighing in and saying trust the process, and then weighing in the middle and weighing at the end. There's still that accountability, saying that if you don't follow the steps, you will not have the result. But there is a release of having the mysticism of a number. So by the end, you look at the number and say, oh, I did the steps and these are my results. So there's another technique, and that's called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting can be done with any of these programs. This said, however, intermittent fasting is done as an addition to these programs. It can be its own standalone exercise, but in this case, when someone is trying one of these three programs, Holobody, Noom, or Wildfit, they can add intermittent fasting to their routines once they have control over it. Eric Edmonds, the designer of Wildfit, mentioned that the reason that he kept intermittent fasting out of his system is because it gives people one more reason to fail, and he wants to take that out of the picture. He said once you go through the challenge and you establish your parameters and your criteria, then by all means add intermittent fasting onto that to additional benefit. When you're just starting out, however, it is the KISS method. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Because anything that can add complexity, anything that can add stress, anything that can add anxiety can also be a trigger. And what do I mean when it's by trigger? It means that it could be also an excuse to go back later and say, I didn't do as well because I had so much to think about. I had A, B, C, and then I had intermittent fasting. And then it becomes the culprit rather than a tool. So to keep things simple, in the beginning, there's no intermittent fasting. The next thing is going back to the Wildfit method. Why is each week kept secret from the participants of the challenge? It is done so that also to help participants not have unnecessary anxiety, and at the same time, the surprise is part of the challenge. It is part of the challenge because people cannot binge eat on the types of foods that they're asked to take a break from. They also are not to start saying, oh, I'm taking a break from these 5 foods, and next week I'll have to add another 5 foods, and it's going to be so stressful. How can I do that? How can this said, the list of foods that the participants are taking a break from are announced on Friday, so that everybody has time to do their weekly shopping. I think that these nutrition programs are highly effective, and I also think that you can notice elements of other nutritional programs when you're going through them, and in particular the Wildfit program gives you an option to factor those elements in. At the end of the day, it's your choice, and at the end of the day, the participants are trained to build a framework that's customizable to them. So at the end of the day, if you want to include elements of paleo or keto or other Mediterranean, as a matter of fact, variety is built into the system as well, so that the participants are not forced into a particular limited set of schools. There is also an element of the participants asked to select the best foods that they have access to at a certain part of the challenge. At the same time, there's an understanding that there are some constraints that the participants may have, from health constraints to access constraints to financial constraints, and the coaches who are working with the participants work with each person in those constraints. Why do I say this? I say this because I am working through these systems myself, these nutritional systems, and because I am a Holobody coach and I am a Wildfit coach. And if you are interested in learning more about these two frameworks and would like to explore more, I would be more than happy to chat with you and to even have a trial run to see if that works for you. They are not easy, so I will challenge you if we're going to work together. However, they are highly rewarding, and they bring results, and they're very good systems. They're very good wellness programs. With that said, I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of my smoothie. Cheers. And I'm going to wish you a good night. It is getting a bit late, and even though I am not doing intermittent fasting today, I don't want to finish my dinner later in the evening and have it interfere with my sleep. And we're going to talk about that in another video. If this information resonates with you, please don't forget to subscribe and like my video. If you know somebody who can benefit from this information, please don't forget to share it with them. And if you would like to schedule a discovery call, please reach out to me and we'll set up a time to do that. Thank you, and see you next time.